Hi, I'm Esther Avant. Rich and I recently had an awesome chat here on the podcast. I'd love for you to check out my podcast, To Your Health. With over 350 episodes, it's all about helping you stop starting over and finally follow through on your goals, starting with your health. You can find it wherever you're listening now.
Hey everyone, it's Rich Bennett. Can you believe it? The show is turning 10 this year. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who've tuned in, shared an episode, or even joined the conversation over the years. You're the reason that this podcast has grown into what it is today. Together, we've shared laughs, tears, and moments that truly matter. So I want to thank you for being part of this journey. Let's make the next 10 years even better.
Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Harford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow pitch
It's probably the least sexy part of the work, and I don't have the answer. That's okay. No. The truth is,
what if the biggest thing holding you back isn't your talent, but the mental script you've been reading from your whole life? I'm joined by Dr. Albert Bramante, psychology professor, certified hypnotist, former talent agent, and author of Rise Above the Script, to talk about how even the most successful people battle with doubt, fear of success, and imposter syndrome. Albert shares his personal journey from silently struggling behind the scenes to reclaiming his voice and stepping into his power. We're going to dig into how self-sabotage disguises itself as ambition, how mental scripts shape our lives, and how to start rewriting the ones that no longer serve us. So if you've ever felt like you were performing in your own life, this conversation will hit home. So grab your drink, whether it's coffee, tea, or whatever, and get ready for a raw, real, and refreshing look at what it means to stop playing small and start living big. So, Albert, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks, Rich, for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, my pleasure. I want to get right into it. So, your personal journey in the book, you spent years behind the scenes helping performers shine. What made you realize it was time to step into your own story?
When I started having more conversations with this topic with people and helping other actors come out of their having their own periods of self-doubt and overcoming that. And it was at that point where I realized it's time to put my story out there. It's time to help other actors. And that's why I wrote the book, Rise Above the Script, which I published in 2024. And it was actually part of my doctoral dissertation, the topic. So I transformed it into a book, and I've been kind of sitting on that for years, and it was time to actually do something about it.
Wow. So, all right, and in the book, you talk a lot about mental scripts.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the script you were living before things actually shifted for you?
The script I was playing too small and playing invisible, most likely, again, behind the scenes. And I think I really took that 100% behind the scenes. So I wasn't really putting my message out there. And it wasn't until, I was a part of a mastermind for authors, and the statistic that I heard, which kind of was like a bit of a mini wake-up call for me, was that only 1% of authors are going to publish that say that they're going to write a book, actually do it. And I was easily becoming that 99% who don't, and who sit on the pipe dream. And I think, the people around me, it was like the boy who cried wolf, in the sense I kept telling him I'm going to write this book, and yet nothing, year after year, nothing was being done about it.
Right.
Until I actually sat down and said, you know what, I've got to do something here. I've got to take action and write the book.
All right, I have to ask you this because I'm big on mastermind groups, and I don't think there's enough out there. But how did you find a mastermind group of just authors?
Well, I joined a training program on self-publishing. for self-publishing book. And that was the sort of thing. And I agree, masterminds are extremely important. That's what kind of got me from, taking an action to action. So, and this has actually kind of been established, even if anybody's ever, who's listening, ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yes. One of the first books I read.
Yeah. And he advocates masterminds. So, and how they're so important. And that was something that really kind of resonated with me. It's like, this is important.
Yeah, it's funny because I read that book, I want to say when I was about 12 or 13. And then, of course, the other one, The Law of Success. And one of my co-hosts came to me because I always ask for ideas on recordings. And we're going to be recording this one soon. He said, let's record an episode about brainstorming in a mastermind group.
Right.
Now, all right. So, Albert, when you read books like that when you're 12 or 13, you don't remember a lot of the stuff in it. And my first thought was, what in the hell is a mastermind group?
Right.
So I did my research and bought The Law of Success again. And I'm in the process of reading that. But you always see people doing networking groups, but not mastermind groups, which is a big difference if people don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the process of launching a mastermind group now. And I just, when you get all those minds together, it can make a big difference.
100%, because everybody has something to contribute.
Well, and actually, I want to get back to the book because, you had stopped writing for a bit, right? And then you joined the mastermind group. Is it the mastermind group that actually helped you, that really pushed you to finish writing the book?
Yes. And it was really that statement, that statistic that really resonated with me. Hearing that 1%, and, the start and stop. And another strategy that I learned was that really helped me write the book was the idea of not editing until you're done. And for me, the issue that I would run into when I would start to write the book is I would write 1 or 2 pages and then get really obsessive and delete it, because I wasn't happy. And then it was just, getting that out there. And of course, other, talks and things online and the whole idea of the imperfect action was really what got me to stop editing too. The idea of the imperfect action,
right.
And that was really a relief. And so what I put myself on a schedule that for 2 hours a day, I'm just going to write the book. And that's what I did in 2023 from July to the end of September. I put myself with writing at least, 2 hours a day, just writing. And in 2.5 months, I had a manuscript.
All right, Albert, I got to ask you this then, because if you are, I need you to put fire into my ass. Do you actually mentor people too now when it comes to writing books?
Not currently.
Okay.
But who knows what I'm in the future. But that's one thing I would say is take action and just set a schedule. That's my one tip that I would say for anybody, whether it's writing a book or working on developing a course, developing a program, is to take action.
I love that because I've been working on writing a book for, I want to say 2 years now, but I never thought about just, I'm always so busy scheduling podcast recordings and everything. And with my Good News website, scheduling stuff, I never thought about just scheduling time, even if it's just an hour, 20 minutes or whatever a day,
right,
to focus on that.
Because it's just like when you're scheduling a podcast, it when you put something in a calendar, it's actually real. It's actually happening. So I would schedule whatever time you have, schedule an hour or half an hour a day and just write. Because when you schedule, it becomes real. And it's not just a someday or a pipe dream, because that's also another thing that I kind of learned throughout the years is the word someday is non-existent because someday is not a commitment. Someday is not real. So putting on a calendar, so holding yourself accountable. And that was another thing which I felt good for the mastermind group, but they held us accountable. Like, okay, when will you have when will you have an update for us?
Mm-hmm.
And how many pages you written? And so that kind of put my feet to the fire. In addition to in addition to putting it on my schedule, I was able to complete it. Otherwise, I would have been sitting here now in 2025 telling people I'm going to write this book.
Right. I love that. I'm going to have to do that. And the other thing that you said, which, when I was writing, I was doing as well, don't edit it until you're finished.
Right.
I like that.
Because especially if you have a, tendency to be a perfectionist, which I was, I still am to some level, it's actually going to hold you back because, what I often found in my work is that perfectionism is a symptom, really, and it's a link to procrastination. So it's just I need this to be perfect. I need to have the right inspiration, and you start delaying things because you say, "Well, I'm not ready."
Yeah. So go ahead.
So the idea is if you wait for that, it'll never happen. And that was the one thing I learned too.
Yeah, I love this. So you already put fire under my ass and didn't even know it. So you've actually worked with actors, performers, and even high achievers. So why do so many people who look successful still wrestle with imposter syndrome? And for those listening, explain what imposter syndrome is too, if you don't mind.
The textbook definition is a person who feels like they're a fraud, but it's much more than that. It's much more complex than that. So it comes up with areas of self-doubt. So you might start feeling, am I really worth doing this? Am I really worthy enough of having this thing being done, especially as an author? Who's going to want to read my book? I'm just little old me. And you start doubting yourself and you start negating all the experience that you have in the past. You just throw that out the window. And then it just becomes a cascading element of self-doubt. And then you start holding yourself back. You play too small or you hide.
Right.
And it's a normal experience. I don't think, to label imposter syndrome as a it can hold you back, but it's something that all, even high achievers experience.
Yeah.
And peak performers experience, and those that are really successful. I mean, there's even sometimes cases of A-list actors after they're done filming will sit there and doubt their choices. Did they make the right choice? Did they do the right thing? And these are sometimes award-winning actors, not just traditional run-of-the-mill actors. So that kind of made it more. I would say it's a normal process. I think we normalize imposter syndrome, which is important. So first of all, I would say anybody's having it is normal. It's typical to have it, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I think just admitting it to yourself is like, okay, this is not necessarily real. This is my own story I'm telling myself.
Right.
And for me, the way I think one of the things that delayed me in writing the book was I was so worried, I'm going to get these negative reviews. I'm going to get these 1-2 star reviews on Amazon. People are going to really hate the book. And the one thing that kind of made comfort and in a real way was another coach of mine had said, well, would you rather have a book with bad reviews than have no book at all and regret it, not putting it out there? And I said, yes. And then also part of, again, going back to that mastermind group I was part of, we had a marketer, who came in and gave some presentations and said, sometimes even if you get that 1 or 2 star reviews, that can actually improve the notoriety of the book.
Yes.
And then if you look at a lot, like even Napoleon Hill, he has 1 star reviews on Amazon for Think and Grow Rich. So that kind of made it like, okay, this is a story I'm telling myself. So, but the important thing is to take action, even small actions.
Yeah.
And I think why a lot of people also procrastinate is they set unrealistic goals initially in the beginning. And I even talk about this in my book to an element. It's setting a realistic goal, small steps, rather than because eventually all those small steps can add up. And even though it might seem like a small step at a time, it's one step closer to than you were, yesterday or last week. So the one thing I would say is to take action by taking small steps, creating the calendar, holding yourself accountable, and not having a to-do list. A calendar is actually helpful. To-do lists are great and they can be helpful. The problem is that can also be overwhelming. And then when you start to see those lists in front of you of everything that needs to be done, you develop something what I call decision paralysis, where nothing will then get done. And that's why if you look at the person, and I need to call myself on this too, is the person who has so many things on their desk and so many tabs open on their browser, and they get nothing done. It's like because there's too much.
It's not scheduled.
You create a schedule and then block time out too. By saying, okay, even I know some leaders that will even block out time to answer emails. Okay, this time of the day, I'm going to go back and I'm going to answer emails for the day.
That's a great idea. I never thought about that. You're right, because a lot of I do. I got the to-do list, the honey-do list, all the different lists, and a lot of the stuff doesn't get done because I don't have it on my calendar.
Right. So it has to be put on your calendar. Otherwise,
everything on my calendar, I get done.
Mm-hmm. It will get done. And that's how I did it with my book. I was like, okay, this is going to be real. One or two. And I would block time out. And that's the whole thing, too, where it's like, okay, I'm going to take those 60 minutes of writing or block 2 blocks of 60-minute writing. I'm not going to look at social media. I'm just going to write. And that was helpful, because otherwise, if you have all these, these notifications going off, you're going to be distracted.
So, and you cover a lot, all this stuff in your book?
Yes.
So, in a way, your book is also, a self-help book.
I would say that, yeah. I mean, and even though it's written for actors and performing artists, there's a lot in there that can apply to everybody. I kind of created a lot of advice that can apply to all professions. And I've had a lot of people who bought the book that weren't actors, that and benefited from the book. So I think it's an important book to have.
Well, and you think about it, technically, everybody, you're, I don't know what, different job titles and everything, in a way, isn't everybody a performer?
Yes. If you're a speaker, if you're a podcast host, you're a performer. If you're a salesperson, you're a performer. If you're a teacher, you're a performer. Even if you're working in construction, you're still performing a job. So that's why we're all performing artists on some level, just, in different ways.
And when was the book released?
2024.
And this is your first and only book so far, right?
So far, yes.
I like the way you answered that. So far, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yes. So another way that you can start to even using your language is use the word yet. So I haven't written my second book yet. I haven't written my second book. If you say the word yet, and if after a statement like that, like you haven't done anything, you say yet, because it signifies possibility.
Yeah. No, actually, with the book, since it came out in 2024, and I love to ask authorpreneurs this. What has been the biggest struggle so far since the book's been released?
I think just promoting it and getting it out there. It's great that it's on Amazon, but unless you have to actually market the book. Otherwise, it'll sit there. And I mean, I have it in different formats, because I have it as a kid, an ebook, I have the paperback, and I also have an audiobook, a version of it. So it's on Audible and like Spotify and Google Books and Apple Books. So
you did the voice, right?
No, No, I had somebody do it. I didn't do the AI route, which some people do. I know some authors are doing it lately. I don't want to do that. So for me, I actually hired a narrator to do that.
Oh, okay.
Because somebody who does professionally. I probably will do in the future for my next books. I will most likely narrate it myself.
Yeah, why not? Cheaper.
100%, yes.
I mean, and you think about it, you're getting on all these podcasts and everything, promoting it. So you got the equipment to do it.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
So I have, well, that's I'll just do that.
Actually, I wanted to ask you this too. So how does self-sabotage often masquerade as being driven or ambitious?
So the thing about with self-sabotage is driven and ambitious. Most of the time, what can happen, especially if you are ambitious and highly driven, what can often happen is you have fear that's popping in there, fear of failure, even fear of success.
Mm-hmm.
And that can hold you back. And the thing about the self-sabotage, and this is why I wrote the book on it, is it's not a pattern that you realize you're doing. It's not a conscious pattern. Now you might be going through life and somebody might say, why can't anything go right? Why does this always happen to me? Why am I having such bad luck? The harsh truth to some level, and this is also with love, of course, you might be the reason for that happening yourself.
Okay.
Take a step back and figure out what exactly is happening. What exactly is going on? In a sense, what issues are holding you back? Was it, again, fears, even perfectionism? And I think perfectionism is a form of self-sabotage because it leads to procrastination. And I've often said that perfectionism and procrastination are really just symptoms of some other inner work that you may need to work on. There's a lot of great programs on there on procrastination, and I think they're great, but they're only dealing with a Band-Aid approach to the problem. They're not working with the deeper core reason. There's a reason why we might be procrastinating. Maybe we had some trauma growing up or some, childhood events that really held us back.
Yeah. You mentioned fear of failure and fear of success. What's the difference between the two, and which one trips up people more in your experience?
I would say it's kind of equal. I mean, fear is a very powerful protective mechanism. So there are some benefits of fear. I mean, that's what kept our species alive for, millions of years and different, we survived so many different things. And fear is one thing that protects us. However, it can sometimes be a little an overdrive and hold us back. So as human beings, we just fear change. And that's what really the ultimate thing is. We fear change. We like being comfortable. We like staying comfortable. When you are successful, like let's say you land that job or you land that promotion or you land that mega deal, a big deal, your life is going to change. There's going to be more pressure now added to your plate. And if that is overwhelming, your mind is going to say, okay, well, I'm going to protect you from that.
Yeah.
And therefore, you won't exactly be successful. Because especially with actors, now let's say you land a Broadway contract or you land a lead in a TV series or lead the movie even. What will wind up happening is your life is going to change drastically.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have a lot more obligations. You're going to have a lot of more time away. And it's going to be a pressure to perform all the time. And that can be, as much as that on a conscious level is desirable, like to be successful, it's also on the deeper subconscious level very scary.
Wow. Yeah. You're no longer a talent agent, though, right?
I'm transitioning out of it.
Okay. So now you're doing what, hypnosis?
More of coaching, more of mindset coaching. I do a little bit of hypnosis. I don't really do that full time. Like, I may integrate it a bit, in a more conversational way, in the sense that I, help with limiting beliefs. I might use some hypnotic processes, but I do that as a coach, in a sense.
Right. Okay. Because I noticed on your website, and for those listening, go to albertbramante.com, which I'll have the link in the show notes. The hypnosis audio collections that you have on there. I'm like, oh, I got to check these out.
Yeah, there's something for everybody on there, whether you're looking, to improve your athletic performance, if you're looking to improve your leadership and communication skills, if you're looking to improve your mindset, or in any way, overcoming addictions in any way, improving your sleep and concentration. There's recordings available, and they're not long recordings. They're 15 to 17 minutes, so they're great to listen on a daily basis. And you can listen to them on your on your headset while you're relaxing, and you do that once or twice a day for at least 30 days, and you'll start to see some changes in you. Now, it's not a magic pill. It's not going to be a one time I listen. It has to be consistently.
Well, and you offer other tools as well. So can you, hypnosis, NLP, can you break down how those tools actually help people shift their mindset or rewrite their internal script?
Because it works with working with the subconscious motivations, the core issue. We go to the core.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Like, again, the trauma, the deep-seated fear. And it works to limit and rewire that and heal from that. And it may be some childhood wounds that may come up. Now, of course, my recordings aren't going to cover that, but that would be more of a professional one-on-one setting where we would come up with and work with any childhood trauma that you're going through. And you may not even realize it. And when I talk about childhood trauma, I'm not talking necessarily about drastic things like abuse or violence. It could just be not getting enough attention from your parents and over a period of time. That can be a trauma.
Yeah.
Not feeling you're heard in your household. That can be a trauma. And then what winds up happening is we repeat these patterns throughout life that we've learned at such an early age. We internalize that and think it's the way the world is. And then we wind up finding ourselves repeating the patterns over and over again in our adult relationships and our adult behavior. So working with hypnosis, we can change that to some level so that you're empowered to make changes in your life. And rather than having your mind work against you, it's like, now let's have your mind work for you.
It's almost like rewiring it.
It's exactly what we're doing. We're rewiring. And NLP is, stands for neuro-linguistic programming. So it has a lot to do with reprogramming your neurology, in a sense. Because when you change your beliefs, you actually start to change your neurology. It's like mind and body work hand in hand.
Right.
Your mind can influence, your body can influence your mind, and your mind can change your body too.
All right. So back in the day when you were in high school, what was it that you actually wanted to do when you got out of high school? Is it what you're doing now?
Sort of. I mean, I was always the bookworm growing up. I loved reading. And I started when I was in high school reading books about the brain, and reading books about behavior, and reading books about emotions, and I became very enthralled by it. So I kind of knew even in high school I wanted to be a psychologist. I wanted to major in psychology. That was something that really stuck with me. I really wanted to do that. Because I also had just an interest in science. I was strong interest in science in school. So for me, it was just, science of the mind. And so, but I was also interested a little bit in creativity too. Like in high school, I was involved in a lot of extracurricular activities, including the drama club. And for me, that was like a haven for me.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a haven for me. And I just enjoyed about being around creative people.
Yeah, me too. Although I didn't do it in high school, but in elementary school I did, and I loved ad-libbing because I couldn't remember the lines.
Yeah, that can be fun too. But
I had the teachers cracking up during the one play, but it worked. So.
Hey, go with it. And that's also another thing about performing too, is sometimes not sticking to a script, and I think that makes people nervous. I mean, of course, when you're doing a play and a film, you do have to stay to the script. But even when you're doing sales, this is why, like, I was never a fan of the cookie cutter approach. Like, read the script to somebody, okay? No, because, and I think the important thing is connect with the person in front of you. You connect with the person, the customer, the client in front of you, not relying so much on the script.
Well, there's a lot of famous actors and movies out there where the actors went off script. I think of Gene Wilder. Was it Willy Wonka? Mm-hmm. When he was walking out, when you first saw him walking out with the cane and the cane got stuck, he ad-libbed that. He did that was all ad-libbed. Robin Williams was a great one.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of TV shows and movies, they improv, and sometimes they'll say a wrong line, and it's like the writer said, let's keep that in there. And
that's why I love watching the outtakes.
Yeah, sometimes the outtakes make it part of the film. Actually, maybe there's another show that was very successful on HBO, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes,
and what I knew that most of that was not scripted. Most of that was just, they may have had scenarios in their mind. They're like, this is what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just have the camera roll and let's just do off the cuff. And that made a great show. It won so many awards. And it was not scripted. It was not scripted at all. And
that's why I always love watching Whose Line Is It Anyway?
That's a great show too.
Yeah.
And it just, again, some of the most funniest moments are not scripted.
Now I'm going to have to go back and watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. How many? That was 7 seasons?
I think 9, because they did a reboot for a while. I think they did a couple of recent seasons. They did 7 altogether back, years ago, and then they brought it back for a couple other extra seasons beyond that.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that one out again. It's been a while. So for listeners that are feeling stuck in a cycle of self-doubt or playing small, what are a few mindset shifts or daily practices they can try right now?
So one is just taking action. And watch the language that you use to yourself. Don't say to yourself, you're aspiring this, you're dabbling this, or you're starving this, or you're struggling in this. Because the words that we use, and this is a thing I can even give a hypnotic principle, the power of words. Words mean a lot. The words you use to yourself, the words that you use to other people. Like the artists I work with, don't ever introduce yourself as a struggling actor. Don't introduce yourself as a struggling artist or starving artist. Because when you do that, you wind up holding yourself back. So that would be the simple thing. And just, again, going back to what I've said a couple of times, taking action. Yeah.
Taking action is definitely key. I think that's your next book.
Maybe.
Taking action. What's something you wish more people understood about their inner voice?
I would say trust it more, listen to it, embrace it. It's there to protect you. Now, sometimes, again, it can come up, because it could have been programmed incorrectly by parents and teachers. Right. But I would say you listen to it to some level, but don't let it hold you back either. All
right. So this journey, how has this journey changed how you show up as a professor, an agent, and just as Albert?
By taking action. Again, just doing it. And even for me, doing the whole podcast, experience tour, I just took action. I reached out to people. I've joined Podmatch. I joined other, sites. I just took action. And the important thing is showing up. even Woody Allen said the best, 80% of success is just showing up. So the important thing is show up. And if you make mistakes, those are learning experiences. There's no such thing as failure, only feedback. That's what I was saying. So make those imperfect actions.
All right. So something very important. Tell everybody how they can find your book. And I have to yell at you for this because I don't see your book on your website.
Yeah, that's going to be worth it. But it's on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon, Rise Above the Script, and you
and I'll make sure I had the link in the show notes for that as well.
So it's on Amazon. Like I said, you can get it on a audiobook, a Kindle, or paperback.
And tell everybody your website again, because you got a lot of great things on there for people.
Yeah, so it's Albert Bramante, my full name, albertbramante.com.
And those of you listening, I'm serious, check it out, because as much as we cover addiction on here and recovery and business, oh my God, the audio collections you have something for everybody on there.
Yes.
Which is amazing. Amazing. All right. So before I get to my last question, is there anything you would like to add?
I would say just keep doing what you're doing and take the imperfect action, and be successful.
All right. I don't know if you're ready for this or not. I always love trying something new, and you're my guinea pig today.
Uh-oh. Okay. Uh-oh.
So we're going to end with a random question. Just pick a number between 1 and 50, and that's going to determine what question I ask you.
28.
28. All right. Why 28, first of all?
Man,
that's not the question, though. Wow. Okay. This is a good question. What's something you're deeply passionate about that most people don't know?
Spirituality. I'm very
really
deeply spiritual person. I don't, unless it's like an invited space, I'm one of those people that don't impose my beliefs onto other people, unless of course it's asked and invited to. So I have a deeply spiritual person. I believe in a higher power. I don't consider myself religious at all. I don't subscribe to an organized religion.
Interesting. I've had a lot of people on here and we've talked about that. And one of the things I really want to do is study the different religions, different spirituality and all that, because I don't know. I think the more you soak in, the more you understand other people as well, and history. That's something I definitely want to get into. Man, we have to have you on again just to talk about that.
Well, I'd love to come back.
Oh, that could be fun. Really fun. Albert, I want to thank you so much. It's been an honor and a privilege. And those of you listening, when you purchase the book, and again, I'll have the links in the show notes, make sure, and you read it, make sure you leave a full review. Also, because I know it's going to help you, purchase it for some other people that you believe it'll help as well. Thank you. If you're the type that don't like to read a book, if you don't like the physical copy, you can get it on Kindle or the Audible version.
Exactly.
Which I love even more. Albert, thanks a lot.
Thank you again for having me, Rich.
Thank you for listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something from it as I did. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners and share more incredible stories. Don't forget to connect with us on social media or visit our website at conversationswithrichbennett.com for updates, giveaways, and more. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep the conversations going. You know, it takes a lot to put a podcast together, and my sponsors help out a lot, but I also have some supporters that actually help me when it comes to the editing software, the hosting, and so forth. There's a lot that goes into putting this together. So I want to thank them. And if you can, please visit their websites, visit their businesses, support them however you can. So please visit the following: Real Life Prosthetics, cutting edge solutions, restoring ability since 2001. Go to reallifeprosthetics.com. Full Circle Boards. Nobody does charcuterie like Full Circle Boards. Visit them at fullcircleboards.com. Sincerely Sawyer Photography. Live in the moment. They'll capture it. Visit them at sincerelysawyer.com.